Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a case where a sergeant continuously harassed an auditor who was exercising his right to record in public. The sergeant eventually learned his lesson when the auditor refused to comply with his unlawful orders. In a video posted in August 2023, an auditor was roaming around the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum, located in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He was recording the area and eventually made his way down a sidewalk where he observed a patrol vehicle suddenly pull up nearby. Soon after, an officer jumped out and immediately started to approach the auditor. The officer, namely Sergeant Barrientos with the Fort Wayne Police Department, promptly asked the auditor how he was doing and then proceeded to ask him for his name. The situation continued to escalate from there as Sergeant Barrientos actively tried to violate the auditor's rights. This entire encounter was captured by the auditor's body-worn camera.
I'm doing well.
What's your name, sir?
Who are you?
I'm sorry?
That's not the way this goes. Who are you?
I'm Sergeant Barrientos, Fort Wayne Police Department. How are you?
Good.
What's your name?
I didn't give it.
I know. I want to know what your name is.
I don't care what you want.
Well,
that's not the policy.
The Secret Service.
I don't care.
Us to identify
then why don't they come out here and talk to me?
They will in a moment.
Okay, go ahead. Am I being detained?
What's your name?
Am I being detained?
What is your name?
Am I being detained?
What is your name?
I'm gonna assume no.
What's that?
I'm gonna say, hey, don't you touch me. Don't you touch me. Public servant, don't touch. Look, public servant, you don't touch me. You don't touch me.
Or else what?
You don't touch me.
Or else what?
I will file a complaint.
You can file a complaint.
Don't
but
touch
I'm going
me.
to identify you.
You're being live streamed. Nope.
All right, stop.
No. Am I being detained?
Yes, you are being detained.
Am I being detained?
Identify who you are.
That's not the way this goes.
Well, I don't care what you think.
Okay. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. I'm not.
Sir,
no.
The Secret Service has
I don't care.
To identify
I don't care what they want.
Okay.
That's not the way this goes.
I understand that.
Show me the law.
Okay, I understand that.
Show me what have I broken?
What is your
What
name?
law have I broken?
Okay. We have
what
to have a
law have I broken?
The arrival of the President of the United
It doesn't even close until 3 o'clock.
I understand that.
Or do you understand that?
What's your name?
Do you understand that?
What's your name?
What is your badge number?
1647.
I'm going to file a complaint with Officer Reed.
That's okay.
And your Internal Affairs Department.
That's okay.
Right off the bat, there are some crucial elements worth highlighting. Though it may not seem like Sergeant Barrientos was questioning the auditor because he was recording, this was likely the reason, or at least part of the reason for the contact, which we will soon understand later in the footage. Regardless, the First Amendment of the United States Constitution states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. So an individual is well within their rights to record in public, since it falls under the protection of freedom of speech and the press. Other than that, Sergeant Barrientos claimed that the auditor was now being detained until he identified himself, adding that the Secret Service demanded that he must provide identification. It's worth noting that a police officer is allowed to detain you if they have reasonable suspicion. This is a situation in which they can reasonably presume that a crime is, was, or will soon be committed. This suspicion is founded on the officer's educated assessment of the circumstances and the facts they know. In addition, Indiana Code Section 34-28-5 states that a person who knowingly or intentionally refuses to provide either the person's name, address, and date of birth, or driver's license, if in the person's possession, to a law enforcement officer who has stopped the person for an infraction or ordinance violation, commits a Class C misdemeanor. However, since we already know that recording in public is not a crime, and that the auditor had done absolutely nothing wrong, we can safely conclude that this was an illegal detention, and Sergeant Barrientos was violating the auditor's constitutional rights. Now watch as the auditor confronts Sergeant Barrientos for assaulting him and asks what crime he committed. No answer was given, unsurprisingly.
You don't touch me.
Okay. I did not touch you.
Yes, you did. I have it all live streamed between 3 cameras.
Okay.
Don't touch me. Not to mention the other ones that are watching you right now.
Okay.
Don't touch me. You have no right.
Why won't you give your name?
I have no business to give you my name.
Okay.
I haven't what ordinance have I broken?
What's your name?
What ordinance have I broken?
What is your name, sir?
Have I committed a misdemeanor?
What is your name?
Am I being detained?
Yes, you are.
For under what probable cause?
Okay.
What is your RAS? Your reasonable, articulable suspicion that I've committed a crime.
You have your face covered.
It's
taking photos,
cold outside. I have gloves on. It's cold outside.
You don't have your glove on.
I can't operate the camera.
You don't have a glove
I've
on
been
your
doing
hand.
this and sticking it inside my jacket.
Well, you have it's so cold.
I've been alternating. It takes video as well as pictures. I can alternate between them.
Someone reach out to 600 on TAC 9, advice on the subject is refusing to.
I'm not refusing the ID. I'm saying I haven't broken the law.
He is not complying with our request for ID.
Am I being detained?
Yes, you are being detained.
Under what probable cause?
The Secret Service is
Under what probable cause? I haven't committed a crime. I haven't. It doesn't matter. You have to. If you have to detain me, then I'm leaving.
No, you're not.
What am I being detained for?
Is that your name?
What am I being detained for? What am I being detained for?
The Secret Service has cleared you.
What am I being detained for? What's your name, officer?
Wants to identify you.
What is your name, sir?
My name is Detective Tagmeyer.
What is your badge number, sir?
1574.
Thank you.
What is your name, sir?
What reasonable articulable suspicion?
Here, and we'll see if it's the same thing.
Why don't you get the chief down here?
Chief's busy.
Well, tell Mr. Reed to come down here. He knows who I am. Tell the chief to come here.
600, 620.
Tell the chief to come here.
Let the Secret Service know that the subject is failing to identify.
I'm not
himself,
failing to ID.
refusing to identify.
I'm not under 34125, 3.5. That's not it. It's not failure to ID. You haven't told me what crime I've committed.
Okay, just a second.
I don't want.
No, they're talking in my ear. You're not going anywhere.
Don't touch me.
You're not going anywhere.
Why am I being detained? Why am I being detained?
We've already seen how Sergeant Barrientos had physically blocked the auditor from walking away several times by pushing him back, and since we know that the detention was illegal, this could indeed be classified as assault. Note that assault is considered to be an attempt to or a threat of committing battery. However, this kind of criminal act is not called assault in the Indiana Code. Instead, this would best fit the definition of an offense called intimidation. As defined in Indiana Code 35-45-2-1, a person commits the criminal act of intimidation, a Class A misdemeanor, when they communicate a threat with the intent that another person engages in conduct against their will, another person be placed in fear of retaliation for a prior lawful act, or another person be placed in fear that the threat will be carried out. It's worth mentioning that if the detention were to be lawful and justified, Sergeant Barrientos would be protected by the legal concept of qualified immunity, which shields law enforcement officers from personal liability for actions taken within the scope of their duties, as long as those actions do not violate established constitutional rights. But that clearly doesn't apply in this case. The confrontation continued between the auditor, Sergeant Barrientos, and Detective Tetmeyer, who had just responded to the scene.
You haven't given me probable cause for me to be detained.
Just a second, I don't need probable cause.
Yes, you do. You need reasonable articulable suspicion.
That's right.
Yes. What is it?
That's not.
What is it?
Reasonable.
What crime have I committed? Of what crime?
Right now, we're
Of
not
what
sure.
crime?
That's why we're talking.
You can't hold me for you're not sure.
Sure we can.
No, you cannot.
It's called a Terry stop.
No, then Terry frisk me.
I don't need to frisk you right now.
Okay. Don't reach in my pockets. That's not part of the Terry frisk.
Unless I feel something that could be contraband or a weapon, then I can.
No, you can't.
Sure I can.
That's not a Terry stop.
Sure it is.
Nope. It's a cursory search.
All right.
How dumb do you think the public is?
I don't think they're dumb at all.
Yeah, I've got 3 officers here.
I think they're antagonistic.
Yeah, 3 officers. I'm out here taking video and pictures. Where's the crime in that?
We're just following.
Where is the
Secret
crime in
Service
that?
has requested of
Then
us.
tell them to either come out here
They're on
and
their
I'll
way.
tell them the same thing I'm telling
They're
you.
on their way, sir.
As we've seen, Detective Tetmeyer claimed that this was a Terry frisk. Now let's discuss whether this was true. A Terry frisk, or Terry stop, refers to a type of police interaction established in the 1968 Supreme Court case Terry v. Ohio. In this case, the court ruled that a law enforcement officer can stop and briefly detain a person based on reasonable suspicion of involvement in criminal activity. During this brief stop, if the officer also has a reasonable belief that the person is armed and potentially dangerous, they may perform a quick surface search or pat-down of the person's outer clothing for weapons, hence the term frisk. However, In this case, Sergeant Barrientos and Detective Tetmeyer seem to be misapplying the concept of a Terry frisk. No specific facts or circumstances were articulated that would suggest the auditor had committed, was committing, or was about to commit a crime. And there was no reason to suspect that the auditor was armed and dangerous, as he was simply filming in a public space. Additionally, Terry stops should be brief and not last longer than necessary to confirm or dispel the officer's suspicions. But as we've seen, the auditor was detained for an extended period already without a clear reason.
For taking pictures. I can get them from right here. It's the same public sidewalk.
You could get them from over there.
So I could get them from Google Earth, but I didn't. I got them from over there. That's not a crime. It's not a crime.
It certainly raises suspicion.
It doesn't matter if it raises suspicion. It's not a crime.
It certainly does.
No, it doesn't. It's not a crime. It's not. It's suspicious activity. Is that a misdemeanor or felony, sir?
Suspicious activity.
Misdemeanor or felony?
It's neither.
That's right. It's neither. So I haven't committed a crime.
No, but that doesn't mean we can't talk to you.
Yeah. Well, you can't detain me. That's the thing.
What's the Secret Service advisor?
You don't detain citizens, and you don't touch them. You don't touch them.
What's that?
You don't touch citizens.
I couldn't hear you.
Don't get any closer to me.
Or else what?
You're invading my personal space.
Or else what?
What do you think is going to happen?
You tell me.
You tell me. You're the one who wants to lean in like you want to kiss me.
Entrance number 4.
And the only thing I can do is go backward into traffic. So
Okay,
if you're trying, what do you think I was trying to do? Until you tried to be Johnny on the spot and move over here. Until you try to be Johnny on the spot and prevent me from coming away from the street. You're not serving and protecting. Did you take an oath?
Go out to,
did you take an oath to protect
entrances where
the United States citizens? Did you take an oath? Sir, I'm talking to you. Did you take an oath?
Just a second.
Did you take? I don't care what you're doing. Did you take an oath? I'm talking to you, public servant. I'm talking to you, public servant. Did you take an oath?
Go out and around.
Did you take an oath?
I did.
To uphold the Constitution.
I did.
This is a First Amendment protected activity. So why don't you get back in your car and get back to your job? This is not your job.
Just a second.
Don't do that to me. You keep leaning in like you can't hear. So I'm speaking up for you.
Here,
so I have two. I have two.
Okay.
So what?
I'm not hearing you over this loud, guys. So yeah, just come to entrance 4 off the Parnell. Secret Service.
I don't want to get pushed in the street.
Do you feel better here?
I'm not going to be pushed in the street by you.
Do you feel better here?
Are you not going to lean in and try to kiss me?
Do you feel better here?
Are you going to not lean in and try to kiss me? Because that'll make me feel better.
I couldn't hear you. Secret Service is coming. Just relax.
Who's this jackboot?
Jack?
Who are you, sir?
That's rude.
Well, you're illegally detaining me.
Rude.
I have a right
That was
to
very,
say. I don't care. What's your name, sir?
Rude and uncalled for.
What's your name, sir?
His name is Officer Fry. His name is Detective Tegmeyer.
What's your badge number, sir?
You don't need to know that.
It's in a policy.
He's not talking to
it's
you.
in your policy. He's still here on scene. He's still here on scene. It doesn't matter. He's still on scene.
Okay.
What's your badge number? So when I file a complaint, he was witness to you battering me.
Battering?
Yes, you touched me.
Rude,
you touched
or angry
me.
manner.
You touched me.
Did you feel pain?
You touched me. Emotionally, maybe. Because you cannot touch a citizen.
At this point, it becomes clear as day that Sergeant Barrientos was up to no good and had malicious intentions from the get-go. He has not only continued to harass the auditor, but also intentionally aggravated him by leaning in too close and pretending as if it's tough to hear him. Note that if the auditor himself had gotten this close to Sergeant Barrientos, it would have been very likely that all officers on the scene arrested him. Regardless, watch as Sergeant Barrientos falsely accused the auditor of touching him, even though the footage has proven otherwise.
You can't. You can't. If I touched you that way, even with a finger, even if it just touched your clothes, I'm going to jail.
You already did that.
I did not.
Are you going to jail?
I did not.
You touched me?
No. It's all on camera. I did not.
As soon as the Secret Service clears you and then clears that you're no threat to the President of the United States, then you can...
I'm trying to be out of here before 3 o'clock, before the road closes, so I can get my car out of here. Do you want me to stay all night?
No.
Do you want me to get video all night?
Oh, heavens no.
Then let me go per your instructions.
Just a second.
What crime have I committed?
Okay.
What crime have I committed? Am I being detained
Yes,
or am
you
I
are.
free to go?
You're being detained until the Secret Service clears you.
What reasonable articulable suspicion do you have?
To them.
You can't do that. You have to have
Well,
reasonable articulable suspicion.
doing that.
What crime have I committed?
That's what we're going to do.
What crime have I committed?
That's what we're going to
What crime have I committed?
do. It's a broken record. It's going over and over.
No, well, because I need to know.
Okay.
You can't articulate a crime. Why don't you just get the chief out here? He'll clear it up.
No, he won't.
Yes, he will.
No, he has tasked us to deal with this.
Well, you go ask him to come here.
No, he's busy right now.
I'll identify to the chief.
Okay.
I'll identify to the chief. You get the chief out here, I'll talk to him. What's your name, sir?
My name is Officer Adam Hartman, 1896 Fort Wayne Police Department.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for being professional. Unlike these guys who have illegally detained me. And this guy decided he wanted to put his hands on me. Can you do something about that?
Well, he's a sergeant.
It doesn't matter. Can you please arrest this man?
I'm here. I'm not. If you
Well, hey, I am going to file a complaint, but that is not it. Can you arrest this man for illegally touching me?
No, I haven't witnessed any crime.
I'll show you. I'll show you the crime. It's being live streamed as we speak. You don't touch citizens, sir, who've done nothing wrong. You don't touch them. Do you hear me? Do you understand? I didn't do anything wrong.
Okay. I just got advised. By
No.
Listen, there's no need to swear.
Yeah, yes, there is, because you can't illegally detain me.
Now you're
You
beginning to
are illegally detaining
You
me.
know what loud tumultuous
You
conduct
are,
means?
yeah, well, you said you can't
No
hear.
disorderly
You
conduct.
said you can't hear. I'm obliging you. Can you hear now?
Once again, if we look back at the First Amendment, it protects the freedom of speech, and freedom of speech includes the right to express oneself, even in a manner that may be offensive or provocative. When it comes to cussing at police officers, courts have generally held that vulgar or offensive language alone is not enough to justify an arrest or punishment. A noteworthy case in which swear words were used to challenge political power is the 1971 United States Supreme Court case Cohen v. California, in which it was held that the mere use of offensive words, while provocative, does not necessarily rise to the level of fighting words that would incite an immediate breach of peace. Judging by this, the auditor has yet to commit a single crime, but was still being detained.
Here now, listen. These are your options. Okay. Okay.
I'm not wanting to hear. Am I being detained or am I free to go?
let me explain
Am I
your
being
options.
detained or am I
Yes, you
free to go? Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Are you gonna allow me to speak?
Am I being detained? Once you answer my question.
Yes. I'm gonna give you what your options are.
I don't care what my options are. I have a right to leave. Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Finish.
Am I being detained or am I free to go? I heard the same thing you did. Am I being detained
Yes.
or am I free to go?
You're being detained. so
Under
I'm gonna
what
tell you.
suspicion of crime?
So-
I don't need to hear your lip. Am I being detained or am I free to go? That's the only thing that
Sidewalk
matters.
Has been secured and rented by.
Am I being detained
Service.
or am I free to go?
If you
Am I
refuse to
being
leave,
detained
you're
or am I
going to be
free to
arrested.
go? Am I
You can
being
film on the
detained?
other side
Am
of
I
the
being
street.
detained or am I free to
Do you
go?
understand that? Do
Am
you
I being
understand
detained or am I free to go?
Do you understand?
Am
that?
I being detained or am I free to go?
Do you understand?
Am
that?
I being detained or am I free to go?
Do you understand?
Am I being detained or am I free to go, sir?
Your refusal to leave will
Am I being
result in you
detained
being
or
arrested
am I
for
free to go?
criminal trespass.
Do you need me to go ahead and sign language it? Am I being
Do you
detained
sign?
or am I free to
Do
go?
you know how to sign?
Do you want me to say it in Spanish or French? Am I being
Habla
detained
español?
or am I free to go?
Habla
Which
español?
one?
Entiende?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Okay.
Am I
can
being
film on the other side of the
detained
street, but you
or
cannot
am I
be on the
free to
sidewalk.
go? Am I being detained?
If you understand that, you are
can
free to go.
am I free to go? Am I
you
being
understand
detained?
that, you are free to go.
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Okay.
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Do you
You
understand
have
the
to
options
release
that I
me.
explained?
You have
Do
to
you
release me
under-
from
do you understand the options that
detainment.
I
You
gave?
have to release me from detainment. It's not up for me to make a decision whether or not I understand something. It's up to you to release me from my detainment. Am I being detained or am I free to go? Thank
if you
you,
don't
sir.
leave the sidewalk,
I don't care to hear your lip.
Okay.
I'm not on the sidewalk. How's that?
Note that the auditor had every right to remain on the sidewalk and film, as per his will, because sidewalks are considered public property. Plus, the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum, where this encounter happened, is a publicly owned facility anyway. It's owned and operated by Allen County, Indiana.
Have a good day.
No, you have a terrible day because I'm going to file a complaint with your department.
Wouldn't be the first.
Well, I already know that. I already know that. I already know that. I've heard your name before. I can't cross here.
I'm just saying.
Are you going to escort me across?
I'll escort
Or are you going to escort me across?
I'll escort you across.
Oh, let's go down here.
All in all, this completely unlawful detainment, out of pure retaliation, violated countless constitutional rights given to the auditor as a United States citizen. The most significant is the Fourth Amendment, which protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. Be sure to check out our previous video, where we cover another outrageous police encounter